Good morning. DeetS on the streets here, reporting to you live from an undisclosed location. I honestly did not think we'd be back so soon reporting on Bullhorn Betty. However, she proved me wrong last night. Boy, do we have a doozy of a report for you today. It has everything, loads of misinformation, as well as criminal activity. I'd like to add a disclaimer that even though we are correcting misinformation, that does not mean we support Alec Murdaugh. However, we do like the correct information to go out. I also want to send out a special thanks. Since this case is not one that I have followed closely since the beginning, we did receive the help of one of our field reporters in correcting the misinformation here. So thank you, special reporter. Let's get straight into this clip.
Hey guys, so I'm in Lowe County, South Carolina,
That didn't take very long, did it? And sorry, I can't keep speaking in that voice. No, you are not in Lowe County. I don't know if she said Lowe County or Lowell County, but either way, you're not in either one of those. Perhaps you meant the Low Country. That's this bottom portion of South Carolina. You are in the Low Country, or what is commonly referred to as Low Country. The property that is referred to as the Moselle property is comprised of 6 tracts in Hampton and Colton counties. So I don't know I can look and see exactly where you're standing. Hang on. So you were in Colton County.
behind me is Alec Murdaugh's home here in the country.
I'm curious, Betty, did you just Google Murdaugh house, put in the address and go to it? Have you not looked at all the evidence photos that have been released or, I don't know, listened to any podcast on this case? Anything? Anyone would know from just a few minutes into an article, a podcast, anything about this case. You would know that this 1,700-acre farm has a main house and it has dog kennels. And those dog kennels are very important to the case. And that's what you're standing in front of right now.
Right there, right behind me. This is where he murdered his wife and his son, allegedly. He is currently facing charges, multiple charges of fraud, scheming to defraud his clients, it's possible that he murdered his own housekeeper that he had for over a couple decades downstairs at another home.
Okay, wow, this is going to take a second. Sorry. Alec Murdaugh has been indicted on a lot of charges, like 100, maybe 100 plus, and he has like 12 pending lawsuits against him. Don't hold me to that number because some have been settled and not settled, but a lot. That being said, this is for the double homicide of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh. I just want to make sure you're aware of what is happening here. Now, pertaining to Satterfield's death, some information gathered in this investigation led to opening a criminal investigation into Satterfield's death. Alex has not been accused or charged with anything relating to her death at this time. And I'm not gonna lie, I had to listen to that last little sentence from her about 60 times before I got what she was saying. At first I thought, is she saying that he kept the housekeeper in the downstairs portion of another home? No, she never lived with them. I think what she means is by downstairs is that, she fell down the stairs. That's the only conclusion I can come to from that sentence. And it's not another home, it's just the main home on this property, which she hasn't found yet because she doesn't know where she's at.
This here is the home that he murdered his wife and son.
Well, it's the dog kennels where he was accused of murdering his wife and son. And hopefully he will be found guilty of it, if the evidence proves that.
As you see, here is the home.
I'll show you guys the home.
I am sitting out in front of their country home. If you guys remember, his wife was going to meet him at the hospital, and Alec texted her and said, meet him here first. So she actually texted a friend and said she thought he was up to something. She didn't understand why she needed to meet him out here and then go to the hospital. Now, this is some 30 minutes away from town. So this would be 30 minutes away from, or even longer than that, away from the hospital that they needed to go to. And that's where they were going to actually meet. But something happened. Something happened, and he chose to get her out here, where he ended up killing her. Then his son came, and he murdered him as well. Now, there is a possibility that his son came here first and was executed first, and then his wife.
This is just some friendly advice from me to you. Watch a documentary on this, maybe even talk to some of the other reporters that are standing outside the courthouse. But this is like a whole thing that's being brought into the trial. The video that has Alec's voice on it. There's a big interaction that happens between Paul and Maggie and Alec and the dogs running around, you know, because Paul sends his friend a Snapchat just a little bit before he dies, because Paul's concerned about his friend's dog that he's taking care of in those dog kennels that you're pointing at. Okay, let's go on.
I'm very sketchy on those details, so I will swap this out when I research this a little bit more related to the timing of death.
I'm so glad to hear you say that you're going to swap out all the inaccurate information in here with accurate information.
We are out here in Low County.
Nope, still not right.
And I'm standing out in front of Alex Murdaugh's home.
You're standing in front of the dog kennels on his property. And I should have said this earlier. It's Alec Murdaugh. Alec Murdaugh. I don't even like to correct people on pronunciation because I jumble up words all the time, so I get it. But you have to be standing next to people who are saying his name over and over.
And it's on a large piece of real estate here. It's very quiet out here. Not a whole lot of traffic, nothing. Now, granted, this is Sunday afternoon, but it's very peaceful, very quiet, very desolate. A perfect place, a perfect opportunity.
Just no, stop.
So as I cover this case over the next day or two, please stay with me. Follow me on the Bullhorn Betty channel, like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have any questions, want me to go look at something, let me know in the comments. I will be reading them.
Please don't do that. If you have any questions about this case, I can direct you to a lot of great channels, podcasts, media outlets, lots of resources that can help you with this case. I wouldn't necessarily come to me. I had to spend a lot of time researching the facts on this one.
This is what is behind. Nobody's around. Nobody's around. Now, granted, there is a house right here, very close, but
that's the guest house that goes with the property.
No matter what happens, this is a wooded area. So hearing some gunshots being fired is probably not uncommon out here. You know, this is the country. This is the country. So I'm going to go try to find out where he resides, where the housekeeper lost her life. I don't believe it's here because we heard that she fell down stairs, and this is a single-story home. It looks like it's rustic. It looks like it's country. I'm unsure why he has this. This does not appear to be a property he would want to have with his upscale lifestyle and such. So,
okay, let me show you guys the property and what Betty is looking at here. Okay, so this is the house she can't see. It's set way back off the road. There's a jig jog back to it in the 911 call with the housekeeper. That's why Maggie says that someone will meet them at the gate. That's the gate there so that, you know, the EMTs driving in wouldn't get lost. This over here is where the dog kennels and the guest house and all of that stuff is. And that's where Betty is currently standing.
We're still on the hunt for answers. We're still trying to piece this puzzle together. What happened to Alec Murdaugh? I was like, you know, I was kind of, but if you're going to go, I'm going to go.
I've been out here a million times.
Have you? No.
This chick is not getting ready to trespass onto this property, is she? Not after all that crap she gave Molly Golightly down in Tennessee when she, you know, barely stepped onto the Wells property. She is seriously not about to step on this property.
Where did he actually live?
Back there, you go the gated entrance and you drive straight.
And that's the main house?
Yeah, well, that is the house. You can't see it from the road.
Okay.
That is the house, because you've been staring at a dog kennel and calling it a home.
Okay.
But these metal gates were just put up after the murders.
Gotcha.
Anybody could have driven in any time.
Gotcha. Wow. Well, it's awfully quiet out here. Like I said, I'm from Florida. What do you know about the area? How's this affected the community?
Walterboro, Carlton County, not that much. Hampton County, which is across the river, nobody will talk about it.
Gotcha.
Notice he didn't say Low County. I know that's petty, but oh well.
4147 Low County. Yeah, you're not recording me, I hope.
No, I'm keeping you out.
Okay.
I'm keeping you out. See, I got it going straight, but I've kept you out for purposes.
And my wife, she would not help me do this. So.
I just have, I guess, right place at the right time.
Sir, if your wife ever sees that video, I don't think she's going to be happy at all. And yep, she's full on trespassing right now.
Because I remember reading the articles. And
which articles have you read? Did you just skim them?
And the wife apparently texted a friend saying something's not right because they were supposed to go to the hospital too.
That's all baloney.
That's all baloney. What did you hear?
I happened to talk to one of the nurses that took care of the mother. She was on duty Sunday night, 24 hours before the murders. And Alec and Maggie were there in Alameda. You know, when I say Alameda, you know what that means?
No.
Alameda is where the parents live.
Oh, okay.
It's south of Barnesville.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this
That's
area
where
at
he
all.
drove and spent 15, 20 minutes and then drove back.
Gotcha.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how Bullhorn Betty gets her verified information. You know, when we hear her screaming with the bullhorn and she's like, we have credible sources and we have fact and evidence and proof. It's just some random guy. I can just about bet you most of the time this is where that information comes from.
And the nurse said, Alec and Maggie were there. She wasn't afraid to be with him. And they even, don't tell anybody.
He says, don't tell anybody that. And so she, instead of editing it out, she puts it on her YouTube channel. Okay.
They, Randolph, who died 3 days later, wanted Krispy Kreme donuts. You know what those are?
Yes.
Well, there's none in Barnesville on a Sunday night. So Alec and Maggie drove all the way to Charlotte and back. Now, she was afraid to be with him. She wouldn't spend 5 hours in a car driving through the backwards. I'm going to be dangerous.
Okay. I'll follow you. What's the worst that can happen? We get a ticket?
Nothing, Doc. I know the sheriff. I've known him for 30 years.
Nice.
He's known the sheriff for 30 years, so he's not getting a ticket. But you haven't known the sheriff for 30 years. Something tells me he ain't gonna be trying to save your butt. This property doesn't even belong to the Murdaughs anymore. It is under contract, which means it is sold to new owners. From my understanding, they're just trying to figure out the whole money situation because of all of those legal issues. So you are trespassing on somebody else's property. Well, it was somebody else's property the whole time, but it's not even Murdaugh's property that you're trespassing on.
This will be your only chance. Well, it would kill me if I was doing this.
Don't worry. I never asked your name. And I'm keeping your face out of it. I just appreciate it.
Being afraid to be with Alex is baloney.
Yeah.
Stop right there. I'm going to get a picture of all this. If you don't mind.
No.
You're with some guy you don't even know. You just met him. He tells you to stop so he can take a picture of all this. How do you know he's even been on the property before? You don't. What are you doing?
Where were they actually found?
Wait, you don't even know where Paul and Maggie were found? Even I know that. Are you kidding me right now?
Well, these are the
Careful.
kennels.
Uh-huh.
See that little white door?
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. Okay, I'll let you take your photo and then I'll go walk. Did they used to have a lot of animals?
Yeah, honey dogs.
Did they used to have a lot of animals? You seriously know absolutely nothing about this case, do you? Nothing. This is their hunting property. They were found at the dog kennels. These are basic facts. I can't.
Wow. What game do they hunt around here? Deer?
Oh, yeah, there's deer, but mainly doves. Dogs are mainly dove walk.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm not opening the door.
No.
It's all been replaced anyway.
Yeah, but I'm not going to touch anything, but I don't mind recording.
You're trespassing. You don't mind recording, but you're not going to touch anything. Your crime is still caught because you're recording.
So that's it, right there. That's where they found them.
We're gonna look in the right now. Yes, they found Paul. Where they found Paul.
Where'd they find the wife?
I'm not joking. I want to know what you've watched on this case, what you've read, listened to. If this is the amount of effort that you put into all of your cases, I'm genuinely concerned.
30 yards away, 100 feet away.
Oh, wow. So Paul was in there, not her.
There, her body was out there.
So her body was out there.
But 30 yards, that's all 100 feet.
Yeah, and we still have a truck out here.
You have no idea whose truck that is. You think it's a Murdaugh truck. It very well could be the new owner's truck. Could be a groundskeeper's truck. Could be the realtor's truck.
It wasn't too much fun that game.
No. I appreciate it. Let me just put the camera down to the ground. There we go. This, I mean, it's despite the horribleness, this is kind of neat. Like, I'm getting goosebumps out here.
Well, wouldn't come out here at night
No.
because it's as black as you can be.
Yeah, I bet. It's kind of scary driving here because I didn't know, once your internet goes down or your GPS goes down, it's really hard to get
Your
it.
cell phone coverage, but it's only one tower.
Gotcha.
That's why they couldn't pinpoint where Alec was.
Gotcha.
3 towers.
Wow.
And I guess you go see Stephen Smith Parade and Mallory Beach Parade.
Where's Mallory Beach buried at?
6 or 7 miles from here in Sandy Run Cemetery.
Sandy Run Cemetery.
Just up the road in Gooding Cemetery.
Please, I'm begging you to leave that sweet girl's graveside alone. Leave her out of this. Her family has been through enough. They do not need these shenanigans.
Where Stephen Parade.
Gotcha.
All right, you're a rebel.
Thank you. Here, let me shake it. I'm going to throw something else out there for you guys. With all this stuff we've heard over the last several years, is it possible? What are your thoughts on this? Whether or not he's a serial killer. God bless each and every one of you. Until next time, be safe.
You just want to label everybody a serial killer, don't you? I truly think that that's all that is for you. You just want everybody to be a serial killer. I can't come to any other conclusion as to why you always throw it out there like that. The reason that I have gone over all this and corrected the misinformation and shown you her trespassing on someone else's property and those sort of things is it's not for Alec. It's not for him at all. In my opinion, I think he is guilty. And I hope that the prosecution is able to prove that. But there are real victims and their families, not just Paul and Maggie's, but other victims as well. And you know they're watching every little thing that they can right now in this trial because they want justice. They want it more than anyone else. They want it more than Bullhorn Betty and Jonathan Lee Riches. They want it more than any of the heavy hitters out there covering this case. They need it. So the very least that we can do is do our due diligence and cover this case and other cases to the best of our ability. Put in the time, put in the work, and put in the effort to make sure that we're putting out accurate information. The victims and their families deserve that. So sorry if it came off a little harsh at times. It just gets to be a little frustrating. But I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.